If I had to use one single word to describe why Pokemon became such a huge gaming franchise, it would be the word clarity. In game design, one of the first things you're taught is that clarity reduces friction. The less mental effort a player has to spend understanding just what the heck they're looking at, the more they can actually focus on playing the game. And Ken Sugimori and the original artists at Game Freak understood that perfectly. When you first look at a Geodude, you immediately know it's a rock. When you see a Magikarp, you instantly understand that it's a pretty pathetic looking fish. You don't have to decode anything, the design speaks for itself. So in this video, I'm going to go through every single Generation 1 Pokemon and rank how well I think their designs works from an artistic and game design perspective. Do keep in mind that this is all obviously my own opinion. If you have differing opinions as to how good these Pokemon designs are, please feel free to let me know in the comments below, as I am definitely interested in other people's interpretations. As an artist myself, I definitely love to analyze character designs in video games and just media as a whole. So sit back, relax, as I analyze every single Pokemon in Generation 1. Alright, so the first Pokemon we have up here is Bulbasaur, and I guess I'll just show the tier list right here. So, right in this tier list we have Perfect, which is for like the best designed Pokemon in the entire game, in my opinion. Then we have Amazing. Amazing and Good are probably going to have the bulk of most of the Pokemon because, let's be honest, most Pokemon are pretty well designed. Okay is just for design, so I'm like, it's okay. Not bad, not too good, just right in the middle. Mediocre. This is where stuff starts to get bad, and I might have a couple of hot takes on this list. But it's only when we start getting to back to the drawing board that it's like they should have recooked this in the oven. I've seen some of the beta designs that Game Freak used to have, and I would be like, yeah, maybe some of those should have replaced what we actually got. And then this is just I'll send flowers, which means this is what they say to you after you get laid off because you made such a terrible design. So yeah, that is the ranking criteria of the tier list. But let's get started with Bulbasaur. Now, this Pokemon's pretty interesting because I actually think it's the least favorite Pokemon out of all the starters for Kanto. Like, if you look at the ratio for people choosing Charizard or Bulbasaur, or Charizard and or Charmander and Squirtle, you'll notice that it's pretty conflated in their favor, with most people not choosing Bulbasaur, despite the fact that Bulbasaur is objectively the best one to choose if you want the easiest time to go through the game. I mean, Bulbasaur is a grass-type Pokemon, and grass is super effective against rock and water, the first two gyms in the game in both Misty and Brock. So that's just kind of hilarious to me. The least popular starter is the best starter in the game. But in terms of design, you have some nice appeal going here. You have immediate attention drawn to this bulb on its back, which immediately reads as, this is a floral-based Pokemon. It has something to do with grass and flowers. And then you look at these eyes, these nice red eyes that contrast greatly with the more tealish green. I'd say they did an amazing job of making this like the very first Pokemon for most players to see. I would say the most reason why it's not as popular as Charmander and Squirtle is just because it's like quadruped instead of bipedal. And it doesn't look as cool as them, like, let's be honest. When I get to them, you'll see why they have way more appeal. And they have the anime tax a little bit, especially with Squirtle. But in terms of first design, excellent. So, for the first Pokemon, we're putting you in Amazing Bulbasaur. Alright, next up we have Ivysaur, and this is a little bit of a pet peeve I have with the Gen 1 starters, is that between their first evolutionary form and their second one, there doesn't seem to be all that of a difference, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you have these more poisonous leaves protruding out from his bulb, which you can see here. Hold on a second. Which you can see here, obviously. But other than that, the face structure still looks kind of the same. And the polka dots, like, he stands up a little bit taller. I think even in Smash Bros, it's like, the size difference isn't really emphasized in the art much. But he's like way bigger, but you can never tell. And the bulb becomes a little bit more edgier, as I like to call it. It's more sharper, which is basically draw speak for it's become a lot more dangerous. But other than that, kind of hard to tell that it's evolved more than just its base form a little bit, at least in my opinion. It's pretty cool how they work in the photosynthesis stuff to like explain where it gets its power from, because it is basically a walking dinosaur plant, and the bulb on its shoulder essentially gives it insane solar power to do solar beam nukes. So that's pretty cool, and a really fun way to get people interested in this Pokemon. But unfortunately, when you're in a region with a turtle with hydro cannons and a dragon that can breathe fire, plant that can shoot energy beams is not really as cool, I gotta say. But I'll say it's still a really cool Pokemon in my department. Going into good. Then we get to Venusaur. Oh boy, Venusaur is what a glow up. So one cool thing is that he has this little crown figurine right here, where you see it looks like a king crown. That's a pretty cool, nice design decision there. It shows you he's serious. Also, he becomes noticeably more hefty with these more chunkier and wider lines. The leaves protruding past his forehead really shows the power, and he looks more ferile. One thing I like about Pokemon's designs is that they don't just look like cartoon animals, if that makes sense. Like, you see stuff like Donald Duck or Bugs Bunny, those are very obviously cartoony, anthropomorphic designs, but Pokemon still keeps its animalistic traits in its characters, despite the fact that they're meant to appeal to kids. And I think that's what separates them a lot from other cartoon animal mascot characters, at least in my opinion. But yeah, Venusaur is absolutely amazing. I'm putting him in amazing. Just with Bulbasaur, he exudes power, and even though he's not as cool as the other two Final Evolutions, I say he's quite underrated, especially in competitive, but that's beyond the scope of this video. He's an amazingly designed Pokemon. On to Charmander, and this is probably people's most favorite Pokemon from this, or starter from this region, because, you know, it's Game Freak's Golden Boy. Do I have to explain it? Yeah, Charmander has a good design. Whoa, what a surprise. But one thing I do want to emphasize is that the lore implications of him having a tail that's vulnerable to water, and that if it goes out, it kills him, adds a nice tinge of darkness to the series that I think is pretty cool and unlike most other animal-focused collection-based games, because this one trait adds a lot of intrigue into the universe by implying that, yeah, Pokemon do die. And I know from, like, older people's perspective, yeah, that's, like, obvious, but, like, you have to think, this is meant for, like, kids, and such an implication definitely wouldn't be something to scoff at that young of an age. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This design easily goes into the amazing tier. I wish they had something on his head, because it does kind of look like he has bald syndrome here. But in terms of the cartoon lizard, this one is way more appealing, because, like I said at the beginning, the colors are extremely readable. Just three main colors here: orange, beige, and this little blue hint. But everything else is like, this is just a more solid form of red and orange and yellow. Like, it's just lighter or darker shades of that same orange color. So it works. Charmeleon, on the other hand, I actually think has a way better design than Charmander, just because it sells the more lizardy appearance of Charmander, while the previous evolution kind of looked way more cutesy. This one looks far more reptilian, which is a bonus for me, because I like when Pokemon goes for the more animalistic designs. But also, you have the stuff from the head now, so that space isn't just clear. It gives him more, I guess, a more distinct silhouette, in my opinion. And the color sells that it's getting hotter, which is a really nice touch. In terms of its gameplay value, like I said, Charmander and Charizard are the actual worst starters to pick in terms of their difficulty early game. Being weak to the first two gyms in the entire game, that's kind of dreadful. But most people are going to choose them anyway because, again, Fire Dragon. Oh boy, here we are at the first mega hit Pokemon, and I have to say, this one should have definitely been put back to the drawing board. A terrible Pokemon. No, I'm kidding. Charizard's perfection. Even I have to admit, the reason why people like this Pokemon so much is not just because Game Freak hypes it up. This design is incredible. You have his posture showing his elegance and regalness. Look at that neck. That's the longest neck we've seen so far. Then you have the confident stare as he's staring into the void. He's like, I'm not even looking at you. While the other evolutions have this blanket stare into the abyss. Oops. While the others have this dead-eyed, derpy stare into some abyss, looking off into the distance. He's like, what's over here, distracted little fellows? You have Charizard, this domineering, prideful dragon that stands proudly, and just look at that silhouette. Beautiful. Spans all the way across. What 11-year-old kid is not going to become obsessed with this? Like, whenever I was in middle school, everyone was just talking about this Pokemon. If you drew anything, they would say draw Charizard, because let's be real, it's like one of the coolest animal designs ever created. But yeah, it's no surprise there that it's good. Like, wow, Charizard's the best design starter. Who would have thought? Alright, on to Squirtle, and this is actually, I think, my favorite starter of the Kanto region, just because Water type's my favorite type of Pokemon. I don't know why, they just always have appealing designs. I'm not gonna say what my favorite Pokemon is yet. We'll get to that when I go to the region. But yeah, Squirtle has a very iconic silhouette. its color scheme, again, simple, just brown, that nice blue, that cerulean blue, and the little pale shell. Reads immediately as a turtle, has the animalistic choppers right there, where you see, hold on a second, has this animalistic maw right here, instead of just like a regular cutesy cartoony smile. It still looks adorable, but it still shows very clearly that this is an animal, not some random cartoon anime. It's all nice stuff. Now with War Turtle, this is a bit of another issue I had, like the Ivysaur, where not much has really changed. Like it gets these claws, while this one has more stubs instead of claws. But its head shape and overall face structure is resembling of Squirtle, but it just gets uglier, which is annoying because like at least Ivysaur and Charmeleon, they don't get uglier, but like with War Turtle, I kind of like, I regret involving you, man. Like, what's the glow down? Yeah, I like how this tail right here resembles like waves. That's very clever, very clearly showing because he didn't have that before. Oops. You even see some of the soft wave design patterns in its previous evolution with its tail, but it's also like a squirrel, so it's like a cool little pun. I don't know, I just thought that was cool. But in terms of its like appeal, I think it goes way down. Like, I do not like this way darker blue color. It kind of looks a little ugly in my opinion. So yeah, I think this is gonna be the first one where I'm like slightly mediocre. Like, sorry any War Turtle fans out there, but this one is the least like appealing design to me out of all the starters. For Blastoise, I might actually have a bit of a hot take. I think that this one is just okay. Like, it's not bad or anything, it's just what I don't like, it should be obvious. This one design decision completely makes me like, this is some Digimon BS. Are you telling me that these natural creatures now have military armaments built into them? How did they evolve into that? Did they go inside of a shell? Did they get a tank? Did they ingest some munitions? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But it does look cool. It still has that ugly blue color that War Turtle has, but overall, it's a cool design. It's not as cool as Charizard by any means, but the cannons kind of messed me up because I just don't like, I don't like what this implies very much. Butterfree, the first butterfly Pokemon in the entire series, and it's okay. Now, I know this might seem like blasphemy because what are you talking about? It's just okay. So, this actually kind of goes into the generic animal trope. So this is what happens when Pokemon becomes a little too simple, in my opinion, for my liking. Like, you still have the iconic silhouette, like a readable silhouette. You have this, let me do blue. You have this iconic silhouette where it's like big circle, tiny circle, and that leads into its body, which is very, very recognizable. But then you just have these wing patterns, and unlike other bug type Pokemon that we're going to get into in the series, like Vivian, for example, like, there's not really anything going on for Butterfree most of the time. It just looks like a generic moth or butterfly. Even for more generic Pokemon we get into the future, there's just nothing that's really stand out about Butterfree. Like, I know it's iconic just because it's Gen 1, but be honest, would you recognize this Pokemon if it was like some random route encounter in like Gen 3 or even 4? Like, people don't talk about it, but Butterfree's pretty forgettable. It's only memorable because it's in Gen 1, in my opinion at least. And because of that, I put it in like okay tier. It still is like appealing to look at, don't get me wrong, and the colors are nice, but just a bit too generic animal for my liking. Now Weedle, this is how you do like, I'm actually trying to think, do I like this more than I like Caterpie's design? Because Weedle has a little more edge to it. Like, you notice the sharp tendrils that immediately elicit that this is more dangerous than Caterpie, which is fitting for its bug type, poison typing. So you have that going for it. But then also you have this giant goofy nose in the middle, which is just appealing. Like, exaggerating the most basic shapes of your characters is a good way of making them more appealing. And you see these decorated all throughout its body, just these tiny little pink circles. And then these sharp needle tips that are white. It gives a good way of showing it's a more dangerous Pokemon, but it's still fundamentally cute. Like, this thing's adorable, but you gotta handle it the correct way, you know? And these eyes are they're a lot more emotional than Caterpie's, because like, you remember Caterpie's eyes, it was a lot more dead-eyed inside, you can barely tell its expression, but not for Weedle. Weedle has life in those eyes, which is a nice contrast. They're both extremely weak though. Now Kakuna, I don't know if this is the edgelord in me talking, but I kind of like it more than Metapod. Like, Metapod's design is clever, but man, Kakuna just looks cool. Like, this is the coolest looking Cocoon I've ever seen in my entire life. Just the razor sharp eyes that, for some reason, anime art back in the like 90s loved doing these like sharp eyes to give a like serious demeanor. You mostly see them in anime boys, but Pokemon seem to reflect that in its more serious Pokemon designs. And since it's a poison type, you want it to give off that edgier vibe to it. So you have this nice little sharpness. And also this beautiful golden brown color. Like, gosh, it's so gorgeous. The shading that Ken Sugimori has for its art makes it look simultaneously dramatic, but also approachable, which is why I think it has that nice touch of like being cool enough for anybody to get into, but still cute enough for it to have its appeal, if that makes sense. Like any person from any walk of life, male, female, old, young, these designs are just really good to look at. Like, they're just fun to look at visually. So that's why I think of Kakuna. It's just like probably the coolest Cocoon Pokemon in the entire game. Like, even other regions, when we get to them, I'll still say Kakuna's design is excellent. And then we have Beedrill, which is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. It's not my favorite bug type though, or my favorite poison type, but it is. I am a bit of a hypocrite for this because I mainly like it because of its mega form, like Mega Beedrill, but we'll get to that later. But it does have the same problem with like Butterfree, where it is generic insect. So I would be a little bit of a hypocrite if I put it higher, but it does get across the fact that it's dangerous and that it's not just a bug like Butterfree was. This thing will hurt you with its high speed and sharp needles. But if I had to admit, it is literally just a bee with like needles attached to his hands. But it still looks cool. But must stay consistent. It's okay. I'll put Blastoise, but I'm not gonna disrespect Blastoise that much. Oh boy, if there was any type of generic animal syndrome Pokemon, this would be it. I mean, this thing literally just looks like a bird, and it's memorable because it's in Gen 1, but all the other generation birds blow Pidgey out of the water, in my opinion. Like, its color scheme, it's just too basic, in my opinion. Like, it's literally called the tiny bird Pokemon. Like, this thing looks like a generic cartoon animal. Okay, not generic, because it still has its animalistic features. Like, it doesn't have the googly eyes that most cartoon birds will have. Like, if you look up no AI, usually they have like, you still have these googly eyes, but Pokemon has a distinct animalistic vibe to its Pokemon, even with like its fur patterns and stuff like that. So it's a little less generic than that, but I still have to put it in the category with like Butterfree and stuff like that. It does just look like a generic animal. Then we get to Pidgeotto, which looks a little less generic because it has this intimidating gaze, which I really like. They're doing that thing with the sharp eyes to show you that this thing is dangerous and is ready to strike. Like I said, most Pokemon designs usually fall into the category of either cute, cool, weird, or ugly, and this one firmly sits in the cool category, in my opinion. Has a nice silhouette. The posing is insanely dynamic. Its color scheme at the bottom here with this red and gray patterns, unlike its first evolution, which just looks gray. The red highlights of Pidgeotto really make it stand out. Like, this one is a good design. I will put this one higher than its pre-evolution. Pidgeot, on the other hand, is a little more interesting to me in the fact that it's should have went to the drawing board. But let me explain myself. So if I were to show two people this and this, they would not be able to see the difference between these two Pokemon. Like, at first glance, barely anything looks like it's changed. Like, yeah, its hair has a new shade of yellow, but you have to really look at that at first glance to notice that it's changed. Like, the eyes under it are still black. Its tail now is pure red, but like, come on, that's like a barely noticeable feature, just like the hair where it's multicolored. And its talons are seeked in here, so you can't tell if they're actually different, while in the Pidgeotto art, they're fully out, so it kind of looks like this is just the same bird, but posed differently, if that makes sense. So, that's why I put back the drawing board, because I genuinely, like, when I first played these games, I couldn't tell the difference. I know they're larger, but in the key artwork, you can't tell height and weight from just glance, because they all look at the same scale, unless it's like Charizard, where it takes up a huge amount of space. Like, I don't like Pidgeot. From gameplay and design perspective, it should have been cooked more in the oven, in my opinion. But, yeah. Rattata. Now, this one, I'm actually going to say this one's going to the amazing category. And the reason why it avoids the generic animal problem is simply because it has that iconic purple fur. Like, no one's going to mistake this for just a generic rat because it's super purple, but it's a nice hue of purple that doesn't stand out and make it look like it doesn't fit in with its environment. It's a nice royal color, if that makes sense. And its expression is very, very personality driven. Like, I like its large mouth opening here. Makes it look slightly intimidating while still keeping a cute factor because of these pudgy cheeks here. And the single whisker to add a little bit more interesting silhouette to its face. Yeah, Rattata, amazing design. Pretty good earlier route Pokemon. Raticate also has a very, really adorable design. Pokemon has this weird design obsession where any ugly Pokemon they try to make, it has to be like fatter, which is like pretty funny. You'll see when we get to like Gen 4 and for ugly, but like I actually find these some of the more appealing designs because they have a lot more presence and space they take up. Like you can tell this thing is way bulkier than its previous evolution. And ironically enough, it has a more closer resemblance to a rat color. It's still not like black, but brown fur is like a color you see in actual rats. But it still avoids the generic animal syndrome by the fact that it's just so pudgy. Like, look at it. Also, its teeth clanking in on itself like this adds some interest because there's some tension there in the conflict. Like, oh my gosh, it's gonna bite off its own teeth. It's just really cool design. I really like it. So it goes in amazing, just like Rattata. Alrighty then, Spearow. Now this is a much better bird design Pokemon. It has a distinct silhouette that makes it more distinguished than just like a generic bird. And it also has this way harsher color scheme with these nice red tints on the wings, complementing this turkey brown fur right here. Definitely a lot better than Pidgey in my opinion, despite the fact that not many people talk about this one. And that goes doubly so for its evolution, Fearow, which I basically see no people talk about as like one of their favorite bird Pokemon. But it looks intimidating. It's obviously supposed to be a more villainous form of the Pidgey, while you have this stoic, almost heroic looking bird. Fearow is supposed to be this more angled, like this more sharper angled, more edgier bird. Like you see all these angles and stuff like this that read as dangerous, more intimidating than Pidgey's design. It's very effective at doing that. Like it does an effective job of showing the contrast and why they're sort of rivals in a way. And this little mohawk on top of it just adds to its more edginess. I like the giant wingspan. I like the turkey neck. Makes it have a super distinct silhouette, despite the fact that not a lot of people talk about it. But yeah, Fearow's amazing. I love this Pokemon's design. Ekans. Once again, we have the Raticate phenomenon where it would look like a generic snake, but the yellow or the purple and yellow fur really makes it distinguished from just being another animal in the world. And also it's able to keep its more animalistic features like this eye feature, which you would never see in most cartoon animals. This looks straight up just like a realistic snake eye. And it makes it stand out more because of its instant recognizability as a snake while also having its purple and yellow hues that dominate the color scheme. Like I'm serious, there's only like 2 colors here. It makes it stand out from other cartoon creature designs. And also, the pun with Ekans being snake backwards. Localization team, you are doing wonders for Game Freak. Another good design. Arbok, on the other hand, is straight up an amazing design. Just because it is the first Pokemon that I think straight up looks villainous. Around this time, before Dark type became a thing, Poison type Pokemon were kind of the villain type. Because, you know, they need a type for Team Rocket to have. And Arbok does a good job of showcasing that intimidation factor. I mean, not only are Cobras naturally intimidating, with this design pattern being literally referenced to how their inside pattern is supposed to scare off potential predators, but also just it's displayed in like how its tongue is all gangly and like splits. Its eyes are also more angular, like I said before, to show edginess and show more danger. Like these sharp angles are really prevalent in this design, and it is excellent for it. Also, once again, another pun. Arbok is Cobra spelled backwards, so bonus points to the localization team. Once again. Alright. I know what everyone's thinking. This is obviously going into the perfect category. I mean, it's literally the main mascot of Pokemon. But there are also some gripes I have. For one, I think it's absolutely criminal that Pikachu is not a first stage evolution Pokemon. It is completely terrible that this is a mid-stage Pokemon because it's like of the same stature and like size of Squirtle. But one thing that makes Pikachu cool is that it can both be quadruped and bipedal. Like its design is so creative that it can be shown using its 4 legs like this or standing on its hind legs like this, which makes it a lot more appealing in my opinion. Like that's not something people really talk about in its design choice. And its color scheme is super simplistic, like the nice red and yellow with these black hues to really make this negative space stand out. Like, he's designed perfectly. One of the best designed characters ever. And yeah, it's no reason why this is their main mascot. It is criminal that he is not the first evolution, because his evolution, Raichu, I think looks like an abomination. Like, this is the first, I think, yeah, this is the first Alcyn Flowers. Like, I do not like Raichu's design. I never liked its design. It looks way less sleek and agile than Pikachu. Its weird fur patterns at the bottom look like it is just digging in mud or something more inappropriate if you want to get like your mind wander. But I just don't like it. It looks overall less intelligent than like Pikachu, because Pikachu has this like adorable innocence, but he has like artwork that makes him look a little snarky and like clever, while this thing, it's just pure derp. Like, those eyes have absolutely nothing behind them. Not a single thought going in between these. The best cool thing about him is his tail. His tail is cool, I'll admit. But even like his portrayal in the anime, it shows him as like a dunce. I do not like Raichu. It is a terrible final evolution Pokemon. And I think they should have at least made another final evolution. Like, if this was the awkward middle evolution, then its badness is like fine, because most middle stage Pokemon don't have that good of a design, and very rarely are they like exceptional. But like, Raichu is the final design of Pikachu, and it just looks lame. Like, even its cheek color being yellow is like way less cool than these distinct, only red on its body being these cheeks. Like, it's just so lame. I don't like Raichu. Let's move on. Sandshrew. I actually don't know what a regular shrew looks like. Hold on a second. Wow. Yeah, Sandshrew, really good design. I really like how it has this desert pattern on its body. It looks like bricks, which sells the ground typing really immediately. Like, it looks dusty, you can just tell from the way it's colored and shaded. And these distinct, nice dark blue eyes really make it stand out from its mostly yellow and brown body. Like, just good design. Good. Sandslash, on the other hand, kind of is a little bit of a downgrade, because it loses its nice pattern-like design that makes it look like it's an Egyptian brick, and kind of just goes into like a generic animal. Like, that design pattern was its most distinct form, and no, the cool slashes don't make up for it. It looks a lot more animalistic than Sandshrew, I'll admit, but like, I kind of think that's to its detriment, because Sandshrew has way more appeal with this nice yellow and blue contrast, while Sandshrew has like basically none of that. Like, the blue is still there, but it's just like its body looks less interesting to me as like a porcupine-like Pokemon. I'll put it in fine. Not terrible, it's just, it's definitely a glow down. Alright, Nidoran, and this entire like whole line is really clever, because it has a nice showcase of the fact that they're starting to do gendered Pokemon, where if they're a different sex, then they have alternate designs. That's really cool, and it's true to the animal kingdom. So it's really interesting in how they diverge. This first design is really appealing, nice blue hint, and the cutesy little tooth here, much similar to Raticate, appeals. It looks intimidating, but it doesn't lose its appeal in the process, which is why you still keep that cool and cuteness factor, which is so hard to balance. Same for Nidorina. I like how they make this look adolescent. I don't know why. Maybe it's posing or its stature, but it looks like a teenager that's just like, I don't want to do what you have to say, Mom. Like, I don't know. It just gives off that vibe to me. Once again, a strong silhouette with all these softer edges. Like, they're not quite as sharp like Beedrill, but they're still pretty like angled. Like, you could tell this thing is slightly intimidating, which is perfect for its poison typing. So, good design and shape language there. Nidoqueen is when we start getting into some interesting design decisions, because like, yeah, this right here, that's showing Game Freak is starting to lean more into the more explicit sexual design of some of the Pokemon. And it doesn't get blatant until we get to later generations, but believe me, you'll see this become more and more common, which I don't exactly know how to feel, because it's like, it's not like bad or anything, but it is just kind of something to think of. But the color design of Nidoqueen is pretty good. Blue and beige stand out nicely, and it's just unnatural enough that you can tell it's supposed to be not a real animal. So for that, it definitely is like excellent. It's only when we get to the Nidoran line with its nice purple, I'll go ahead and get to Nidoking. This has, in my opinion, Digimon syndrome. One of the things that makes Pokemon so clear, them have like such clarity is like the use of its silhouette and line language. But this thing just has so many lines. Like you have these shin pads right here. You have this tank buster body build with its like chest plate here. You have all these sharp edges. Like it's obviously supposed to be more intimidating, but all these lines just make it look way a bit like over designed for just a normal Pokemon. Like I don't know, maybe it's just personal bias, but it does look a bit too much at points, and it does look like a mech because of the way its feet are designed. I don't know, it's just weird. But its previous designs do well, like showing it having more masculine traits, like this long jaw right here, these huge spike tufts as compared to Nidorina. Definitely intentional there. And also, I realized it has the Spanish quirk of the naming schemes, with being for feminine and O being for masculine. Just cool nod there. But yeah, both of them are pretty good. Its final one is just okay because of the mecha design I was talking about. But overall, solid Pokemon that introduces a nice concept into the universe of gendered looks, which they don't use often, so it's pretty cool to see. Clefairy is an S-class design. I think that Clefairy is like one of the only few Pokemon that could compete with Pikachu in terms of appeal. Only thing I would say that like detracts from that are these like more animalistic white nails here, because they do look a bit intimidating for like a mascot. But other than that, this thing is like perfect mascot material. Has the what I call Jigglypuff fluff right there, where it swirls off of its head. Very, very common with these Gen 1 Pokemon to have this swirl. You see it in Squirtle's tail, as I showed earlier. You see it in Jigglypuff as we come up. But yeah, it's pretty interesting how they do that. Clefable is an interesting one because unlike Clefairy, it has like its evolution just looks like they stretched out Clefable a little bit. Like you just took Clefable, made it a lighter, took Clefairy, made it a lighter pink, and then just stretched it up a bit and gave it some wings, although these are the most funkiest looking wings I've seen. Like I said, it's not bad by any means, it's just kind of a bit confusing. Like I get it's supposed to be a fairy, but these sharp angles kind of conflate with its more roundish persona, so it's kind of like conflicting in that region. You have these sharp edges with these rounded off edges. It's just a bit confusing for my liking, but it's not nearly as bad as Raichu, believe me. Raichu is so much better. But yeah, I'll put it in a good. Vulpix. Now, I think this won't be a hot take, but like all Vulpix line is like perfection. Like another Pokemon that I think rivals Pikachu in terms of its like appeal. Like look at it. It has these nice, beautiful swirled tails, and then you have this hair that gives it a nice tough of personality, and its eyes are more animalistic and less cartoony than some of the other Pokemon. Like that was one of the things I was talking about earlier, the animalistic traits really aiding and making these cartoon designs feel more unique and special than just generic cartoon animals. And its colors are really good. You can instantly tell it's like a fire type. Its mouth is nicely drawn. Like it's just a good design. I like this little pattern on its legs here. Really nice gold hue here. Yeah, just excellent design. I love Vulpix. Ninetales is a bit interesting because while I do still think Ninetales is amazing, don't get me wrong, it is slight downgrade just because I think the golden hue here kind of doesn't read as fire type as much, though these orange tips do kind of make up for that. One thing I do like is that its hair is a lot more pronounced. Like this looks more regal and elegant than its previous evolution. Plus, it actually has 9 tails this time in 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. All visible in this nice little curve pattern, as you can see here. Like, look at the way that swooshes. Really dynamic posing here. That's one thing about the artwork that Ken Sugimori and the artist did. They made it very good in selling the posing for most of these Pokemon. And this really nice shading on the fur here. It makes it look so elegant and regal. Definitely sells the idea this is a powerful Pokemon, even if it isn't as powerful as it, like, even if it's not as powerful as, like, the more recent Pokemon, it still sells power and elegance quite nicely. Jigglypuff is, you guessed it, another S-Class design. Now, I'm extremely biased because, of course, Jigglypuff in the anime is, like, peak character. Like, it has such expressive facial expressions in that show, and I feel like if it wasn't for that, it would probably be a little bit lower, but, in terms of its design, just two simple colors, pink and this cerulean tealish blue. It has the little swirl, like I was mentioning before, and its ears are very sharp in a way that I think is like complementary to its roundness because it has rounded edges instead of super rough, harsh edges. And it gives it a nice, adorable feeling without it making it look too innocent, because if you know anything about its personality, it's like quick to anger. Now, Wigglytuff, on the other hand, is yeah, we're putting you back to the drawing board. What is this? I I just I do not like this egg shape at all. This egg shape is not doing it for me. It just looks super derpy. Also, its fluff is inverted now, which is an interesting design choice. Its ears are like bunny rabbit ears. Is it supposed to be a rabbit? Is it supposed to be an egg? Is it the Easter bunny? And this little thing, like, it looks like they took Jigglypuff's face and put it in like the Big Chungus meme format. Like, even this makes it look like it has like a 5 o'clock shadow beard. It's just, what were they thinking? I do not like Wigglytuff's design at all. It's not cute and it's not ugly in an appealing way. Like there's appealing ugly, which we'll see when we get to some other Pokemon, but then there's just like unfinished ugly where it just looks like the design was not finished, in my opinion. So yeah, that's definitely back to the drawing board. Zubat. This one would almost be perfection, if not for the fact that I'd put that into it, because like the animations are pretty good, and while the color scheme is extremely vibrant, I think that actually aids into its like cool factor, because it looks like a sick vampire entity. Yeah, I think this might just be biased, but like the decision to give it 0 eyes, again, goes into what I was saying about the animalistic features actually helping Pokemon stand out more, because this thing does not look like a cartoon animal at all, but it still has this nice appealing silhouette. And these gorgeous purple hues under the wings instantly just draw your attention and make you see it's like, it looks a lot more dangerous than just a normal bird Pokemon. Definitely like a cool design. Like, I like the vampire wings, the teeth, sharp teeth edging inward like this. Like, it's a good design. Like, I don't regret putting it in perfection. Golbat is also really good, although these feet are a little goofy for my liking. Like, I actually don't mind the giant mouth. Like, I'll put it amazing. Put it above Raticate. I actually don't like the giant mouth. Like, I mean, I don't mind the giant mouth at all. Like, it gives it personality, and it makes it seem a lot more goofier than its pre-evolution, which could make it seem less intimidating. Like, this is one of the villainous Pokemon, or Pokemon that the villain team uses. But these stubby feet and this giant gaping hole, as well as these tiny little cat ears at the top, it's a bit much. It's like, it's kind of goofy, but it's just so appealing. At least in my opinion. Like, this mouth looks like it could swallow you whole. It's really cool. Should I put it lower? I'll put it at the lower end of amazing. Now, Oddish. Fun fact, Oddish used to be, I think, my favorite Pokemon of all time. I have no clue why. Like, as a kid, I just loved this thing. And probably because it just has this beautiful blue and green hued color scheme. Like, this is unmatched in terms of appealing aesthetics. Like, gosh, it looks so gorgeous. And it has this nice silhouette that makes it look like a walking turnip. Like, it looks like you can see these sprouting out of the ground and you can just pull it with these sharp edges. But this super bulbous and round body at the bottom. And its red eyes really contrast nicely with this green and blue hue. It's just really appealing to look at. Like, not perfection, because there's still some things it could be doing more, but it's pretty up there. Like, it's a really cute Pokemon. Very appealing. Gloom is also pretty good, although it doesn't really, like, one of the problems I have with this line is that it's really hard to tell that they evolved from each other. Like, I guess older now I can see the design inspirations, like you still have the stubby body at the end of it. It looks more like Oddish, but its demeanor going from this really cutesy and bubbly Pokemon to this now more saddened and downtrodden looking plant, it's really clever. Like, I really like that. That's a really nice design decision, in my opinion. And like we said before, the eye shape language does a lot to sell personality. Like, these eyes are literally just two downward slanted eyebrows, and yet you instantly get the mood it's in. It's gloomy. Pretty good design. Very adorable. Going into Vileplume, though, I feel like this is a weird case because Vileplume looks like an alternative evolution rather than like a straight up betterment Pokemon. Because like, you have Gloom, who's supposed to look a lot more sad and angsty, and then Vileplume that's supposed to look a lot more happy and more friendly looking. It looks like they're like it looks like it's supposed to be more like a branch evolution, if that makes sense, but it's straight up just the betterment So I guess that's supposed to be based off of its concept of the flower, because I know these flowers spew out disgusting like stuff. Like the stuff coming out of here is stinky, but it looks happy while doing it. So it's just like a very, very funny contrast. But yeah, that's the only thing I hold against it. But other than that, it looks like a nice evolution to Oddish. But as an evolution to Gloom, it kind of is confusing a bit. I'll put them right next to each other. Gloom is better. Paris. I don't know why this Pokemon's named after a country. Did I just say country? I don't know why this. I don't know why this Pokemon is named after a city, but its design is pretty okay, I guess. Like, I'll put it in okay. Main reason why is because it just looks sort of like it looks like it's just got stapled on googly eyes. Like, it has that weird effect. While other Pokemon this generation have pretty distinct animalistic eyes, this one just looks like it's wearing like you glue your own googly eyes to it. Also, as like the fungal mushroom Pokemon, I would like it to look a lot less buggy, in my opinion, because it's supposed to be the mushroom Pokemon, but it's like mostly just bug and then 2 mushrooms on top of it. Like, you just glue. This looks like an arts and crafts project. Like, you took googly eyes, you glued it to its head, and you took 2 mushrooms, glued it to its back, and you called it a Pokemon. Parasect, on the other hand, looks amazing, mostly because of these dead eyes in the middle. Like, the fact that his eyes, or its eyes, have no pupils really just makes this thing like stand out. It's so creepy because you expect something like this, right? Like, actually, I might look even more creepy. You expect something like having some giant bulbous eyes in the middle, something like this, but like it's just nothing, and it sells the idea that this thing has been taken over and consumed by the mushroom, which I get was supposed to happen for Paris, but its googly eyes just make it a lot less serious to understand. Like, I take it a lot less serious, while this one makes you go like, oh crap, this mushroom's like literally a parasite to this bug. It's really good. Not good competitively though. That's unfortunate. Then than that, I think this might be the first mediocre. Yeah, I think. Or no, forgot Wartortle was mediocre. This might be the second mediocre because I just don't like. Okay, I don't like the giant furball and then just like these regular mammal feet. That's just very. It looks like. I don't know. It looks like the caveman with like the shirt going over his foot looked like, and then it has these eyes. It looks very much like Butterfree, but then it has a nose piercing. I know it's just like that's its teeth, but like I don't know, man. It's just it's all over the place. Like, I don't like how similar it looks to Butterfree, in my opinion. The purple shade is nice, but these feet, it looks too goofy for my liking, in my opinion. Then Venomoth, I think I'm also going to just put in mediocre just because it's not really that appealing. Its purple design is lighter, so it actually stands out less. And while it doesn't look generic like a generic butterfly like Butterfree, it also looks like not really a moth. Like, I wish it has the stupid googly eyes again. Like, the eyes make it, like, if it had more animalistic eyes, 10 times better, or even just sharper eyes, I feel like it would look like 10 times better. But like, those googly eyes, they just bring me out of design. Like, you see these nice, serious wing patterns. You see this nice sharp cocoon, and then you just get up to her, just like, buh. Like, I don't know. I just don't like the googly eyes that much. Diglett. Now, this would be terrible if it had the googly eyes problem, but since it does it, it immediately makes it feel a lot more cutesy and derpy, especially since it has the Weedle nose, like the giant pink derpy nose. And again, you can immediately tell it's ground type with the barrel effect here. And I think it's such a smart idea for Game Freak to not show its bottom at all. Just make people keep speculating. It adds to the mysteriousness, which mystery in a character design is always appealing because you don't want to ever give the audience the full answer. And this design perfectly encapsulates that because you see the front half only, well, it's top half only. Bottom half is left completely up to your imagination. You could draw anything here, like anything. Like anything. Now, Dugtrio is... I get what they're going for, but I have to put in, like... I just have to put mediocre. Like, this is kind of lazy. They literally just taped 3 Diglett together. Just when Diglett had such a good design as well. Like, unironically, if they added the hair from the Alolan form to this one, it would actually be more distinct. which will probably rate it higher, but this is just like small Diglett, medium Diglett, tall Diglett. That's your design. I don't even know if it's like bad. It's just kind of like whatever. Like they just did the same thing. Which I guess if you need to pad out their decks is a smart idea. And it's not like having 3 of these animated is like bad or anything, because it actually does look appealing in game. But as a design, just like from a design perspective, it's just kind of like, I evolved this cool Pokemon. What do I get? Oh, just 3 of them. That's kind of lame. Meowth. Once again, another perfection Pokemon. Do I need to explain why? I mean, come on, it's Meowth. Like, it does this annoying thing with the feet where it has different shade of color on the other half, which is annoying. But come on, look at that feline eye shape. The sharp eyes being animalistic always make it more appealing in my opinion, because mixing the cartoony features with the more animalistic vibe makes it distinct. And also its sharp edges complement the round shapes of it nicely. That nice little whirl tail. Yeah, I just think it balances out the design nicely. I do think these little head spikes are a bit too much at times. Like if we remove them, I feel like it would be a lot more solid of a silhouette. But that's just like nitpicking at this point. Also, its stairs, it's cute. Like its little stare is very adorable. This one's also getting the anime tax, obviously. But yeah, that's my overall opinion on Meow. Persian, on the other hand, So it's not a bad Pokemon. Like, I'm not gonna put it in like mediocre or anything. It's objectively like good, but I just can't help but feel like it's a downgrade. Maybe it's just because Meowth is so iconic. This one just looks like a generic house cat. Like, it looks like a regular leopard. It has a single monotone color, which doesn't really help much. Like, if they brought back some of that orange from Meowth, like this orange completely disappears from the design, and that kind of makes it feel a lot more blander in my opinion. If they had that orange still remain, then maybe it would be a lot more interesting. Like, the most interesting part of it is this jewel in the middle of its head. But without that, does this really look like a cartoon Pokemon or a cartoon animal, or is it just like another cat? But because it's like such a strong silhouette and it's like the first main cat Pokemon, I have to give it more props. I think I'll lower it from good. It's just okay. It's not like Persian's not better than like Beedrill. Nah, not better than those. Psyduck. Now, this line is pretty funny. First of all, this is amazing Pokemon. Like, that's pretty obvious. Amazing tier. But it's actually funny because I'll go ahead and get the Golduck. Their names are kind of like opposites, because gold, but it's blue. Psychic, but it only gets the psychic typing in a second of blue. Wait, what? Wait. Golduck doesn't have psychic typing. Huh. Are we serious? Wow. I thought this thing was psychic type secretly, just because of how many psychic moves it learns and how it literally is like a psychedelic duck. Huh. Wow, that's funny. But anyway, yeah, Golduck has this nice golden hue to it. It looks very derpy. Again, the eyes. You'll notice that every Pokemon's, its eyes give it so much personality. Like this derpy single pupil, like single dot as a pupil, it makes it have so much more personality because it looks more derpy. Whereas if it had something like this, it would look a lot less appealing because it looks just like generic eyes. But these derps, like, they make it a lot more standoutish. It's stuff like that that makes it like so much more than just generic cartoon. As for Golduck, which I would put in good, not amazing as Golduck, it actually does start to get like those more generic anime eyes you can see in the pupil there, which make it stand out a bit more. I don't like how bigger its legs are than its arms. That feels a bit weird to me, and this tail is just a tad too long. But the nice blue hue, or cerulean hue, makes it look like a cool version of like a regular duck. Although these head tufts are a little bit too much as well, like 4 of them. Like I said, it's crazy that this is a psychic type. But yeah, it's a decent design. Mankey. So, only reason why I'm not putting it in like mediocre for being a generic animal is because it actually does a real good job of posing as like a fighting martial artist. The way its hands are posed looks like it's about to strike you with like a kung fu move. Its tail is in this like whippy fashion, like it's whipping you. That's pretty nice. And these feet kind of look like I know it's just like a weird comparison. It kind of looks like Ninja Turtles, like this comic Ninja Turtles-esque feat. It just screams like brawling and fighting type, in my opinion. That's the only reason it's going in like, okay, probably next to Persian. Primate, on the other hand, it actually does the little. So I know I complained about this with like Vidonat, where it has like the feet coming from the fur. But I actually like that one because Primate is a fighting type Pokemon, but it also looks like giving it that more caveman-like aesthetic. It kind of aids in its like fighting aesthetic because you have the little cuffs right here that look like handcuffs, that look like training bracelets or handcuffs that aid in the Pokemon's fighting type appeal. It looks like it just broke out of jail. I think that's the best way I can put it. It looks like it just broke out of jail. And the angry mark here really shows that it's like a fighting type because it's a lot more aggressive. I actually think, yeah, this is the first fighting type in the entire franchise. So they did a good job of showing it distinguished from just like a normal Pokemon, because technically all Pokemon are fighting. They fight. That's the main thing. But these more muscly hands and these cuffs really aid in that aesthetic nicely. That's why it goes in good. Growlithe, another solid design because again, it does kind of look like a puppy, but you have this nice fur that contrasts with the more basic skin and tiger patterns to make it just all the more stand out. Like, I think Persian, maybe that's more. Persian should have had more fur, but these fur tufts make it stand out so much well. And you'll see they do this with early fire types. The fur tufts look like sharper edges to sell that it's like a flame. But yeah, in terms of design, I think Growlithe is amazing, up there with like Ninetales and stuff like that. And its secondary form, Arcanine, just accomplishes that even further because it also has the tiger-like pattern, and it has this very fierce, almost lion-esque vibe to it. Like, it's not a lion, obviously, but like these giant flames and this tail taking up the entire back half of its body really sells its powerful nature and its strong vibes to it. Like, it looks like fire is literally coming off of its body, like from the way this angled flames go. It's really nice stuff. Also an amazing design. Probably better than Growlithe. Alright, next up we have Poliwag, and I feel like this line is a bit interesting because it's another case of that problem I was talking about with the first starters. You'll see when we get to Poliwrath and Poliwhirl, but their evolutionary lines look a tad bit too similar for my liking. But in terms of the tadpole design, I think it does an excellent job with this swirl pattern and this tail. No arms is pretty accurate and makes it stand out all the more. And I really like its derpy face. Like I said, the eyes do a lot of the emotional storytelling here. It looks very innocent and confused at its surroundings. So, really good job on that. I'll put it in the good category. Poliwhirl is an amazing design because you have these boxing gloves. I really wish that it was like fighting type in this line because these gloves look very distinctly boxer shaped, and the whirl part makes it seem a lot more accurate because of the fact that its swirl pattern in the center of its body is more acute this time around. But its eyes, again, still having this nice frog-shaped appearance to show that it's still fundamentally turning into a frog creature. I think it does really good to have its shape language be this nice bulbous look to it, which is why I'm probably going to put it in the amazing category. But then we get to Poliwrath, and this is my problem because Poliwrath looks kind of like Poliwhirl, but it just gets angrier. Like, I know its legs get longer, its gloves now have fingers on it, but if you show two people this without knowing Pokemon, they probably just be like, oh, this is this Pokemon, but just angrier. And I'm like, can't blame them for thinking that. I mean, it literally just looks like you took the same Pokemon and made it look angrier. Although his face structure right here is distinctly more mouth shaped. Like, looks like, this might be a word comparison, he looks like the catnap toy from Poppy Playtime with that mouth shape, which I'm just now realizing is kind of funny actually. But yeah, he's too similar to Poliwhirl in my opinion. I'm probably gonna put him just okay, just because of that one thing alone. Probably the bottom of okay actually. But actually, is he mediocre? How much do I take off? Abra, stellar design. Immediately reads as mysterious to the player because you have these mysterious eye shapes. So like I said before, this eye shape reads as sad. This eye shape reads as serious or angry or confident. It reads confidence. But this one reads as more playful and mischievous, if you will, which does a great job of expressing that this Pokemon is very different from most Pokemon and that it teleports away from you every time you encounter into battle. So it's a really good design in that aspect because it automatically, you know something's up with Abra. So definitely going into the amazing category. Things start to change, however, when you get to Kadabra, because now it has the use of a utensil, which is one of the first of many Pokemon that showcase that they take on human characteristics, either by having human utensils in their hand, or just, like in the case of Blastoise, having an actual cannon on its back. This is a great way of showcasing the Psychic typing, as I think Abra is the first Psychic type we have so far. Yeah, it's the first one. So immediately showcasing, hey, it has a spoon, it can turn it, it can bend it. That reads to the player, okay, so this is like a new typing. So as the first debut Psychic type, really good. Again, going in amazing tier with Abra. I also like its little mustache here, like it's a monk. That's a pretty cool detail. Its large tail is kind of freaky though. Alakazam, on the other hand, is going straight into the perfection tier. This thing has an amazing design. It looks like Chinese. It looks like an enlightened monk that has 2000 IQ with its whole kind of implied facial hair. The two spoons immediately implying to the player. I wish that in his 3D model he floated like Mega Alakazam, because in the game you don't actually see it floating. It's just standing on the ground with its own hind legs. But I'm pretty sure in this thing's sprite work, it does float, and it makes it look all the more powerful. You can tell it has a frail body because of how skinny these shapes are, how lanky its arms and limbs are. But its immense psychic power due to the focus on its giant forehead. Just excellent design all around. Definitely amazing debut Psychic type. Machop. So Machop is clearly supposed to be a reptilian-inspired design, but it looks too humanoid in my opinion. This is like many cases where I'm like, it goes into like too humanoid, but not in like, there are good humanoid Pokemon designs, and then there are like, they kind of miss the mark humanoid. This definitely falls into that territory. I don't think it's bad by any means. I just think it's like okay. But if it wasn't for the eyes, this would just look like an anthropomorphic like character almost. Like you can only tell its animalistic features due to like the more. Actually, it kind of does look like a cartoon character. Like if this thing started speaking English and doing stand-up comedy, I could definitely imagine it being in like a kid's cartoon. So yeah, definitely, its his more humanoid limbs are kind of off-putting to say the least. And its evolutionary line, it kind of does better than this. Again, I don't like the implied clothing because you get some very, very unfortunate, you get very uncomfortable questions to be asked when you see it wearing pants and a belt like this. Its more reptilian side is showcased here though, with the way its mouth is curved and its teeth. So that is definitely a bonus. Machop's appearance makes it look just more human-like. Like this just looks like a human face, kind of. This one does a detail of making it look a little more animalistic, which I'm definitely a fan of. It does get the fighting type off, but I think Mankey does that better, so I'm just gonna put this one in like okay as well. A bit above Machop. Machamp, on the other hand, is noticeably better because it looks straight up way less human. One, not just because it has 4 arms, but also just in the way its mouth has a different texture and color for the rest of its body. Its legs and feet are very, again, those Ninja Turtle-esque feet that I was talking about earlier with Mankey. Immediately shows it as like a more agile and less humanoid figure, so it makes it more appealing in that way. It's just all around, it's like a more distinct silhouette and better design in my opinion, even if the arms look like it's wearing a backpack. Kind of funny enough, but yeah, this one's going into the good category. It's solid design. Definitely a fan of it. Bellsprout. Now, this is actually an interesting Pokemon because I initially thought that this was the secondary evolution to what we'll see in a second, Weeping Bell, just because it stands on its hind legs and it has the more, I guess, wider silhouette, if that means. It takes up more space. And these eyes should have given it in a way that it was like the first evolution because it looks more innocent. Like so many of the first evolutions in Gen 1, they use that same eye style. But for, let's put this in like good. For Weeping Bell, this looks like the first, it looks like the first part of the evolution because it has no legs, then it has legs. But I guess since it's evolving into like a Venus flytrap, they wanted to do like a reverse evolution. So it has its tree sprouts as legs, but then eventually it learns how to levitate. And its eyes look a little more serious looking, if that makes sense. So that's why it has that more weirder design flow. But then Victory Bell has amazing design. Like I said, I don't like the pinkish lips here. I think these should be like a more greenish color because they look a little too much like human lips. But like, I like the reverse design. The fact that it looks like turned upside down. It's like a sack plant, but it's a Venus flytrap. It tracks insects into its hole and then it devours them. It sells the concept well. You immediately know what you're getting at. It reads the psychic typing or poison typing well. It reads the poison typing well immediately because of the fact that, you know, it has sharp vampiric fangs and its tail is more sharp, kind of the same way as Zubat is. Just excellent design, putting it in amazing. Tentacool. Here we go with that Gen 1 problem again, where some of the first evolutions and then secondary evolutions look similar, although it's less pronounced with Tentacruel. What I do like about this art particularly is these psychic sacs. Hold on a second. These poisonous sacs right here that have a nice, like, the way they blend blue and purple in this artwork is gorgeous. Like, they complement each other perfectly, and then you have the negative space down here. Just a really good jellyfish Pokemon and a good first attempt into the water poison typing, which is a pretty solid typing. So yeah, definitely into the amazing tier with that. And then Tentacruel is a, like, they cooked with this one. Excellent design. I'd probably put it above Jigglypuff, like, perfect. It looks so intimidating, but also intriguing at the same time. You have all these dangling limbs coming out from it, so many. And then you have these serious eyes. And the lack of a mouth, just this long tendril. It definitely makes it look more like villainous, which I don't mind in a Pokemon. Like, it still has that cool edge to it that, again, distinguishes it from other generic creature collectors. Sugimori's art style is like, it does good justice to like the shading styles to make it look more venomous than just the generic like fire, grass, or water texture. He shades it in a particular way that makes it appealing. So yeah, Tentacruel is an S-class design, definitely up there with the greats. Now Geodude is interesting because I don't know, Geodude is just like, it's just a rock with hands, but as the first like rock type Pokemon, I think that is intentional. I want you to understand what these Pokemon are all about, which is they're very, very brittle looking designs and they're very strength oriented. Like, it has its biceps looking like this, and the human face does look kind of goofy on it, but I don't know, it just looks, it's okay, like nothing special. I probably put it at the lower end of okay because it's just a rock with hands, which is on the lazier side in terms of designs. But Graveler, oh I know, I mistake. Yeah, Graveler looks cool as well. It looks way more distinguished than Geodude because it actually has like a full body. So again, they do with the Machoke. Again, they do like the Machoke thing where it has all of these four limbs that gives it a distinct silhouette, especially when it's animating with all four arms out. It looks pretty interesting, I'm not gonna lie. And then you have these nice dense formations on its head as like a forehead plate that make it even more stand out in its silhouette. Like, they just take Geodude's design and they're like, what if we actually made it like more interesting, which I'm definitely a fan of. Definitely going good. And then Golem is pretty amazing because I always like the concept of the rock with lizard arms like coming out of it. Like, it really gives much of like something you'll see with later generations with Dimplin. The idea of like these animals inhabiting an object and then poking their limbs out of it in order to traverse. It reminds me of this Legend of Zelda boss from Skyward Sword a lot. But yeah, I like this design motif. It's really cool. It doesn't read as much as a ground type, I would say, like the others did, because their names are more implied it, but oops. But yeah, in terms of design, it definitely does kill it. I like these red eyes to contrast with it. It makes it look a lot more villainous, kind of like Tentacruel, especially with the more lizardy appearance. But yeah, pretty solid design, pretty amazing. Yeah, I'll put it below Tentacruel. Then Ponyta. Now, I know what some of y'all might rag on me for saying it's literally just like a horse with flame coming out, but I actually think this simple design does good for this equestrial Pokemon, because such a simple idea of having like a pale horse that has its hairs replaced with flames, it's pretty creative. And this color for Ponyta is not a typical color for horses, which is why I think it works in this opinion. Which is why I think it works in my opinion, because it's such a unique design. Now there are horses in real life that are colored like this, but given that it's pretty rare, it makes it stand out more as an inspired design in my opinion, just because the base of the flame, it looks like you have the fire, but then the horse itself looks like the base of the fire. If that makes sense, which makes it pretty standoutish. Rapidash, on the other hand, has the same general problem where it's just Ponyta, but it's slightly bigger. Like, the only notable feature on this is that it has a horn now. It's a unicorn. Yippee. Which is why I'm kind of like a little lower. Like, its flames get more intense and it does get lankier. But in terms of the overall face structure and stuff like that, like its eyes change, its neck gets longer. But fundamentally, it's still taking the same, like, shape and color. It just, like, you just give it longer neck. I don't know how to explain it. A lot of Gen 1 Pokemon don't look like they evolve much beyond just... So yeah, for that, I'll put it in okay. Slowpoke's design. Now, this is an excellent design. Like, I'm putting this very high and amazing. Just because it's like a bear, but you can immediately tell that it's something off with it. It reads the Psychic type well because it's pink. And these eyes, I'm telling you, these eyes make up a Pokemon's personality so much. Like, you can tell this guy has nothing going in between these two. It looks like I just drew glasses. It's slow. Now it's Smart Poke. But yeah, you can tell there's nothing going in between those two eyes. Such a good way of showing a Pokemon's personality. And its shape language of having this plump backside with its sharp tail to like break up the silhouette a little bit to make it more interesting is definitely a plus. Yeah, like I said, high, amazing tier. Slowbro also is way different than Slowpoke because it doesn't look like it just stood up on its limbs. It actually has a distinct beak now. Like, it has this area a different color, unlike in its previous evolution where it was kind of... Oops. It has a distinct shell area on its belly. Maybe it had that in its previous evolution, but you couldn't tell because it's laying down. But it implies that the shell forming with it, biting its tail, is giving him a new terraformed body. And it has an even more bear-shape-ish look, with the ears protruding outward like this, and that same iconic swirl pattern like I mentioned earlier. Definitely cool there. Magnemite. So, this Pokemon is, ironically enough, probably my favorite electric-type Pokemon of all time. I'll say whenever a Pokemon's my favorite as we go throughout the generations, but yeah, Magnemite's design is stellar. Like, it does the concept of a magnet, like, perfectly, in my opinion. You have this nice shade of slate gray in the center of it, with these screws protruding outward, giving it a nice, like, kind of like a little cop vibe with the way this screw is coming out of it like its hat. And then it portrays the concept, oh wait, let me put this amazing. It portrays the concept perfectly by having its evolution be 3 of them stitched together. Now, I know you'll be like, that's so lazy, it's just 3 Magnemites, but it's like, it's a magnet though, so it's like magnetizing each other together. It's a really cool concept. Maybe if it wasn't its own distinct evolution, like if it was like Wishy-Washy, where it's just a different form of Magnemite, it would be less egregious because it is just 3 of them stitched together. But I don't know, it's pretty creative because it sells the idea of the opposite poles attracting each other. If only they had it detailed so that it would be the reverse, like this one would be red, this one would be blue, and then it would have them facing the opposite of each other. But in terms of concept, this one is pretty high up there in my opinion. I'll put it in like the top of good. Not as amazing as like Magnemites. So Farfetch. Now this Pokemon is pretty interesting because immediately you read this leek, this vegetable it's holding, as like a distinct part of its silhouette, so it immediately draws attention to it. But other than that, it's a bird. It's a brown bird. Really cute looking. And I like how its hands are massive, which break up the silhouette to be not just as generic as Pidgey. So maybe it's not just a bird. Also, these feet right here are more duck-like in pattern. So maybe it's not just a bird. Maybe that normal type should be a grass type. Anyway, yeah, Farfetch has a pretty iconic design for first gen Pokemon. I'll put it at the top of good so far. But, well, actually back to it. But, yeah, I do like its design a lot. Then we have Doduo. Now, despite what I said about this concept earlier with Dugtrio, I actually like Doduo and Dotrio's design because it does the multiple heads thing really adorably. And also it has that Firo color scheme that makes it look more distinct than just a normal bird. Plus, I just like these, like the fur shading here, like the way they do the fur. It's really, really nice and appealing. So, I definitely will put Doduo in, like, even amazing here, actually, because it looks very, very good. Like, it's drawn excellently. And then Dodrio, it looks, actually, now that I'm looking at it, it looks a little too similar to Firo. Like, these colors are just ripped straight from Firo. And this beak, this, like, skinny, slim beak, is very Firo-like, in my opinion. Like, it feels like it's an alternate. It looks like it's a different form of Firo, if I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, in terms of the concept, like 10 out of 10. It looks amazing. The rendering on it is stellar as always. The colors are good, but it looks a tad bit like Sphero. Not attracting at all, by the way. Like looking like Sphero isn't a problem. It's just like I was surprised by how much this thing rips its color scheme from that Pokemon. But in terms of its three-headed design, it's doing that amazingly. This guy's chill, and then they're just too angry. He's just like mad at them, yelling all the time. He's like, shut up. But yeah, good design. Seal. Yeah, just gonna yeah. Now, but seriously though, it's literally just, it's called Seal, and the only notable design decision is that it looks like a water sprout, and it has a unicorn horn for some reason. Seriously, why did they just give random Pokemon unicorn horns, like, as a design motif? Like, with Rapidash it made sense, but with Seal it makes, like, literally negative sense. Like I said, the only notable thing is this water sprout tail, which is pretty clever, but just lazy design. Dugong, on the other hand, actually looks distinct because it has these little flipper-like patterns on its tail, and it makes it look more interesting than just like a regular seal. It is still like a seal at the end of the day, but it has this nice pastel white color into it that makes it stand out all the more as compared to its previous evolution, which has this ugly beige mouth at the end of it for some reason. Dugong looks way more elegant and serene. So, if they just released Dugong as like it's a single form evolution, then yeah, it'd be way, way better, in my opinion. Putting it in the, I'll put it at the top of good, because I really like how regal it looks. Grimer. So, I know what y'all are expecting. I'm probably going to put this in Austin Flowers tier, but it's actually not that bad. Like, it's still mediocre. Like, I don't like these Pokemon. They are literally just a pile of sludge, but the rendering itself makes it more interesting because you have these distinct dark and light patches of purple. But in terms of getting off the poisonous vibe, you get off the sludge vibe, but I feel like there should have been, like, I don't know, chunks of plastic in it. Maybe have it like a stench coming from it, but right now it just looks like purple Play-Doh. Like, I don't get poisoned other than the fact that it's literally purple like the poison logo. And its eyes do look a bit too derpy for its, like, seriousness. The Great Tongue is a nice addition. And then Muck is just, haha, spell Muck backwards, we get it. It looks like this one arm is doing, like, most of the legwork for its personality. It looks like it's trying to grab at some more trash to eat and consume. I like this little mouth section here, but it just looks like Grimer. It just looks like bigger and fatter Grimer. It looks like angrier Grimer. So yeah, it's just bigger and angrier. So, also quite mediocre, even though it does still have the nice color scheme and rendering. It's just like a pile of like people dog on Garbodor, but at least it has some like garbage inside of it to show that it's like more interesting. I don't think this has is its Great Tongue. I forgot about this Pokemon. Yeah, Felder's cute. Like, I think it's funny how this tongue looks like it was just photoshopped on. Like, you have just these black outline and these nice eyes, but the tongue looks like it's completely like flat. It looks like someone taped it on there. I honestly wonder how it looked like without the tongue. Let me see that real quick. Wow. It looks pretty interesting now that I hear that. I actually kind of like that a little bit better. Huh. But again, in terms of its design, it has a nice pastel purplish blue color. The tongue is a bit out there, but it's overall pretty good Pokemon. I put it like below Graveler. Cloyster, on the other hand, looks, I don't know. This thing looks kind of like a mess. So, ignoring the obvious inappropriate joke I can make about it, what is this horn? Like, is this supposed to be like a javelin? Why is its body just the clam pearl inside, but then it just has like a knife sticking out of it? And I know it's like a upside down clam. This part looks nice. Like, I like how this looks like almost Mickey Mouse ears, like with the way that comes into a shape. Like if you draw it from here, it looks like the Mickey silhouette. But it's just, I don't know. I like its eyes. Like, it's very menacing looking eyes. Like, it looks very mischievous, but overall, this design just looks awkward to me. I wish they connected the centerpiece more. And if they ditched this horn, it would be like probably way better, but it just looks clunky to me. Putting it in mediocre. Oh, its sprite goes hard though. That sprite looks kind of cool because it gives it a shadowy look from the inside. But in terms of the actual design, it's just kind of mediocre. Ghastly. A nice pun, but I'm not kidding you. I think that this face and like orb looks like exactly like Cloyster. Like if it wasn't for the different rendering style, these are like the exact same type of eyes and circle. It is better though, don't get me wrong. Ghastly is a better design because it has this purple gas, but without the purplish gas, it is just a floating sphere of like poison gas. It looks like the those skull enemies from Legends of Zelda. You know what I'm talking about. And once again, its sprite goes pretty hard. I'll put it next to Shelter. Now, Haunter has an amazing design. I know many people who put this above the next Pokemon on this list. I disagree, but I definitely agree that it looks incredible. Like, probably top of amazing. Just the hands, the floating hands that give it off the illusion that it's like a specter. The grimacing face with these sharp angles and teeth. The sharp eyes right here that give off a creepy, serious vibe. Like, it looks amazing. Its back, like its whole body being this giant triangle, like a Tasmanian animal. It just looks so appealing in my opinion. It gives off it, and it's just one purplish hue that's shaded between its lights and darks. Like, just excellent design. But of course, we get to perfection with Gengar. For the first Ghost-type Pokemon in the entire series, I don't think they could have gone with anything better. Gengar perfectly elicits that feeling of dread and darkness that Ghost types have. Sucks that it's the only Pokemon that can attack Psychic types and it's weak to them, but sucks that the only Ghost types in the game are also weak to Psychic types, but those giant reddish eyes, that amazing grin, like, it just looks so intimidating. So threatening, but it also looks playful, like a bear almost. Like, it kind of looks adorable. They nailed the like creepiness, coolness, and cuteness of this design pretty well, I gotta say. Like, there's a reason why it's so popular, and it's definitely because it's perfect. Onyx. This thing, one thing I always bothered me with that Onyx is that it was designed more as like a boss fight rather than like a distinct animal. Because like, what is this? This is just like, is it a worm that's just made up of a bunch of rocks? This looks like jewelry more than it looks like a Pokemon. Especially with this random unicorn horn. I don't know why they keep giving the unicorn horn, but it's iconic to say the least. Like, you could tell it's rock type, but interesting. It's objectively interesting. It has this nice swirl in its silhouette. And it has this nice rocky texture to it, but I don't think people get excited when they see this. It looks like I said, it looks like a piece of jewelry. And quite the inappropriate one if you want to see it from that angle. But yeah, it's not mediocre because it's like I just put it okay. It's in like the middle. It's like whatever. Definitely not as good as Steelix when we get there. Drowsy. Now, many people make this joke that Drowsy and Hypno look like child predators, and I gotta say, for the other psychic types in this generation, they don't do a good job of making it not look like that. Like, what are these eyes doing, man? Why does it look like it's high? like its lips and the way its eyes are angled make it look like it's plotting something devious. And I know it's the Hypnosis like Pokemon, but like, still a good design. Like it's still good, but they definitely did a good job of making you feel creepy, especially with the way it does its finger animations in game. It's just like it gives you the ick. Hypno looks less predatory, I will say, because it looks like the fluffier coat. But the hypnotic necklace it has in his hand definitely doesn't help with that creepy vibe to it. Like I said again, what's up with the psychic type Pokemon getting accessories and like jewelry and stuff in terms of its silhouette? But I don't like how big the hands are. Like I said, that might be why it's so creepy, is that its limbs are ginormous in comparison to its like. Actually, no, it's pretty well proportioned. But if they were smaller, it would probably look a lot less creepier. But the fur coat edition really makes it look a lot more distinct in its silhouette. I'll put it right next to Hypno in terms of good. Where is it? Did I put it in good? Yeah, I'll put it right next to it. I'll put it right next to Drowsy. Krabby. Literally just a crab. Like I get it's supposed to have like this giant, these big meaty claws, but like it's just like a crab with googly eyes. It's not googly eyes, but like derpy eyes. Yeah, it's just a crab. Putting it in the mediocre tier. Kingler, though, now this has some personality. First, you have the crown structure. The crown makes it look a lot more distinct, and also it's asymmetrical with this small claw, big claw, that make it immediately stand out, which is good. You want your silhouette to stand out much more. So in terms of that, also I like how its underbite is a lot more interesting than Krabby's. Like Krabby's looks like it's evenly distributed, but this one you can tell it's an underbite. You can definitely tell it's an underbite here, and it gives it like a almost Santa beard like structure. Like yeah, Kingler is definitely better than Krabby. Krabby looks like they just put it to like fill out the decks. And Voltorb and Electrode being the level like the Voltorb and Electrode being number 100 and 101 respectively is pretty one note, given that they're a mimic. Mimics being in RPGs stuff that looks like treasure but is secretly an enemy. This being shaped like a Pokeball is supposed to look like, you know, the Pokeballs that you see on the ground. It's pretty clever. Although, noticeably, this is a reverse of the colors. So Voltorb is, like, appropriate. I'll put this in good. But Electrode is a reverse of the Pokeball colors, because it actually, if you look at the Pokeball design, it has red on top, white on bottom. Electrode has white on top, red on bottom. There's been a lot of people who said they want to have like a Great Ball variant or Master Ball. I think that would be cool, but I think that stands out to me is that this thing doesn't have like an eye portion. It's just its pupils are dangling in midair, which makes it look a lot more cartoony than most of the other animalistic Pokemon designs. But like I said, Pokemon needs room for the more wackier designs, and I think Electrode's hilarious expression really aids in its appeal, because like it does not look like a creature at all, and they just decide to lean into that. Like this does not look like anything natural is going on here. I just like how smug it looks. Like it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm putting it higher than Voltorb just because it has more personality. Execute. This one looks like it's eggs, but apparently it's secretly seeds. Which, if it is seeds, I don't know why it has this yellow yolk in its sprite work, but it's weird because it's a single Pokemon, but it's made up into like 5 different parts. Because this 6th part doesn't even look like it's alive. So is it like its tail? Are they connected by glue? It's very weird. I like how all of them have this super expressive face, like angry anime, mild anime, super smirk anime. Like these all look like human expressions just taped onto like eggs. I don't know how to feel about that, because like while it is like, it's not lazy, because it takes this facial expressions stuff. It's like very hard to like make it expressive, but like it is just a group of eggs. I think I'll put it in good, just because I really like how smug and personality filled these eggs have. Like they should not be this entertaining to look at. Zekidor kind of is just like lame though. Like they took all of the exaggeration and expressiveness of the eggs, and then they just give it a stoner face. Like all of them are either stoner or just weirdly happy. And it looks like it's wearing a straight jacket because of the fact that it has no arms and these ribboning patterns that come on its body. So yeah, definitely I would put it in like, it's not mediocre, it's just like at the bottom of okay. It just looks clumsy when Executor had, or well, that Execute had way more personality. Cubone, adorable design. It's gonna have the problem I have with most Gen 1 Pokemon, where its secondary evolution just looks like it stretched the first one. But in terms of this first design, wearing the mask of your dead mother goes back into that darkness thing I was talking about with Charmander. That sense of edginess that they give to some of its designs make it really stand out. And this bone has a nice breaking of the silhouette that matches the color of this helmet. It's really good. It makes up from just being a generic mammal Pokemon, and I think it has stellar, amazing design, in my opinion. Right up there with Haunter. But Marowak, it just looks like, it kind of looks less interesting because like they fixed the cracks in the mask, but it kind of loses its personality there. It just looks like it's wearing, it looks like you took Cubone and he just got his mask fixed. Like the bone gets longer, but that's the only notable design decision. It's the same body type. The mask just looks like it's less cracked, and you don't see much of his face and his personality. Like in this one, it looks a little more, it looks determined, but more babyish. This one just kind of looks like it's just scowling at you. So I'd definitely put in like, okay. Because like the original design is just so good with the way the mask looks. Hitmonlee, I know these are based off of like different fighting styles, but I just don't like this yellow, like, I just don't like this yellow devil-esque Mega Man boss fight design and its weird toes at the end of its feet. Like I said, I just don't like it. Like the spring joints, it looks very weird and uncanny, but not in a like appealing way. I definitely think this should be like back to the drawing board. Even the sprite, it looks kind of weird. Like it's just like, it looks kind of like almost like a robot, but like a human trapped inside of a spring lock suit. And it looks like it's wearing a mascot suit. Like I don't know, I just don't like Hitmonlee that much. Hitmonchan is also kind of weird. Like it has these weird Power Rangers-esque battle armor, like armor sets on it, but it also has these super reddish boxing gloves, making you think it takes them off and you just have like a brown hand. It's also wearing this skirt that has shoes, and then this like face plant. Like it looks all over the place. Like why is it wearing this quartet looking dress design with these super gaudy red gloves? Like yeah, I don't like these Pokemon designs that much. Back to the drawing board. Lickitung. Now, despite all the jokes that can be made, I actually don't mind this design that much. It looks like the Alaskan bullworm from SpongeBob with this pink color, which I found hilarious when you look at it and compare the two. But in terms of its overall design, it looks just like a generic mammal. Like I said, the tongue is obviously the standout feature here, and in terms of that, they do a good job. And in terms of that, they do a good design job on emphasizing it, but other than that, it just kind of looks like a generic mammal. I don't know why they bothered to put these generic, like, Wi-Fi symbols on its body. It's like they knew it was like, oh gosh, the body is kind of boring, we need to add some stuff to make it more interesting. And then there's this large tail. Like, it's an okay design. It's okay. Not as good as some of the other mammals in Gen 1. Coughing is an amazing design. I mean, poison types are just killing it this generation. I don't know what's about them. They just look so much more interesting. You have the gaseous clouds popping out of them. You have the skull and bones engraved into its body. It looks like a balloon, but it looks like more edgier than just a generic balloon. And I like its happy demeanor. Like, its happiness makes it stand out more as opposed to the other dangerous poison types. Like, I don't know, it looks cute. And then Weezing actually looks more interesting than just making it bigger because it gets a whole other body limb, but it's asymmetrical, so it makes it way more interesting of a silhouette than just if it was two similar size coughing stitched together. I'm not a fan of this like back part. Like I know you have to. Oh wait a minute, this might just be me thinking stuff, but like, is this supposed to be like representing molecules? Because like in chemistry, you have molecules tied together with like these lines to show the connection points, and then Weezing is like a poisonous chemical. So this could be like a cool chemical connection point here with all of these circles. Probably I'm thinking way more into it, but like, probably I'm thinking way too much into it, but it looks pretty cool. Only thing I have like a problem with is these dinosaur like teeth. Like I think they should have just kept it as the sharpness. And I hate that it stopped smiling. Like I wish it was happier. But yeah, it's a pretty good design. Rhyhorn. Now, iconically, Rhyhorn was actually the first design Pokemon ever, not Pikachu. Surprise, surprise. It looks alright. I like this super tectonic looking back structure. It makes it look super fierce, super strong. It has the rock typing into it, even though it's not that gravelly color. And it kind of looks like a steel type, not gonna lie. This armor looks nice on it because it looks like a powerful rhinoceros. Like it's leaning into what it makes its design so appealing, which is this huge, strong shape language, this squarish patterning on its body. Pretty good. Or actually, I put it amazing. I think it's better than gold. Rhydon kind of gets, like I said, first design Pokemon. They did a good job for it, but I wish this was more armor looking. Like it just has these generic spirals that I like to call the Wi-Fi symbols. But it's a pretty good design. Like as their first one, they did a pretty decent job. Again, random unicorn horn. If they didn't have this, I feel like it would be better. But they need to show that it can drill through the earth somehow. It looks like its body opened up the hatch, which revealed its belly. So maybe that's why it's like that. But colors look nice, shading looks nice. Overall, good design. Now, Chansey is weird because it's very obviously supposed to be like a healing type character. Like it's supposed to be more cutesy looking. But the giant egg in its pouch just make it look like, it makes me think it's like a weird kangaroo. You have its egg shape right here, and then you have this tiny egg shape in the middle. Like, I like its evolution a lot more. It's not bad or anything, but it just kind of looks like, again, big pink blob. But Jigglypuff did it best first. I'll put it okay. It's definitely okay. Tangela, this is just a ball of yarn. Like, legitimately, it's just a bunch of tangled up yarn. I think it does a good job of hiding its face to make it look like mysterious in its eyes, but like in terms of its design, it doesn't even read as a grass type to me. Like if you saw this looks more like, I don't even know, this looks like plastic type of anything, so kind of bad in the reading there. I think I'll put it in okay next to Chansey as well. Kangaskhan. Now, I kind of dislike Kangaskhan, not because it's a bad design, it's an amazing design. It looks fierce, it looks strong and imposing, but it's the reason why we don't have a more traditional kangaroo-looking Pokemon, because this thing is supposed to be the kangaroo, even though it looks like a dinosaur head attached to like Rhyhorn's legs and battle stance. But it's a pretty good design. Only thing I don't like are these random like hedges in its body. It makes it look like it's a rock type, kind of like Rhyhorn, but it's not a rock type. It's just normal. So that's one thing I like have a pet peeve about. But the little baby in it is cute. Again, this should have been its own Pokemon, but because it implies that baby Kangaskhan would be like its pre-evolution. But that's just a gameplay thing, not the design. I think it's pretty good. Horsey. Just a seahorse, but it works. I actually like its cute side profile here. It makes it look more interesting, and those amazing eyes, that gorgeous red, contrasting with the blue so nicely. It's so good. And then you have this little wings to make it look more fairy-like. Like, this thing would be water fairy type if it were released modern day. Just kidding. Its evolution is literally dragon type. But it looks pretty cute. Like, I put it good. Papa good. It's a pretty cute design. Like the little flaky bits of its mask pouring out. Seadra looks distinct from Horsey because it has a longer snout and more sharper eyes, and also it loses the red eyes, which kind of make it less appealing. It's still good, but it has that swirly tail. That swirl tail. And its wings are more sharp and edgy, which makes it look a lot more fierce. So, while I do miss the red eyes, it does look a lot more scary and cool looking, which are definitely a benefit. I'll put them right next to each other. They're pretty good designs. Goldeen. If it wasn't for Smash Melee, I would like literally care less about this thing. Random unicorn horn, which we'd like. We'd like to see the random unicorn horn. But then he has these human lips. Like, it looks like it's gonna start talking to me like, yo. And I just don't like that implication. Like, tone down with the humanistic appeal of Game Freak. But these little wavy patterns are pretty good. Not a mediocre design, just kind of like, it's okay. Okay design. I like the color scheme too. Seeking though, it looks just It looks hideous. Like, this thing is like, one, it doesn't take the same color scheme from like Goldeen at all. It has these random black bits in it, which I guess if I'm arguing they should change, yeah, that's fine. But like, main thing is this unicorn horn, and these lips get even more freakier. Like, I don't like these human lips, and this more bulbous eye. I guess if it's trying to look intimidating, if it's trying to look more intimidating, then it's like works, because you have these sharp horn, more ravenous teeth, bigger eyes that have more lifelessness in them, and these giant black splotches on this bigger tail. Like, if it's supposed to be terrifying, definitely, but I don't think that's what it's going for. And since it's like that, I'm gonna put it in like mediocre, top mediocre. But like, yeah, it looks like a glow down. Staryu, solid design, pretty simple concept. Take a starfish, make it look like a cartoon starfish. It looks like it's wearing underpants and like the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy belt ring here. But overall, it looks pretty distinct, like its silhouette, like it's posing. Pretty good design. Or pretty amazing design, actually. Pretty amazing, because the colors look nice. Starmie, I like not as much, but it has more personality. Like, I think these are the only Pokemon without discernible pupils or eyes. Because like, even with more abstract Pokemon, like the Ultra Beast, it looks like no, Ultra Beasts don't have pupils either. Like, Starmie looks kind of like an Ultra Beast from that, if it's drawn inside, which I think makes it stand out among the Gen 1 Pokemon because of how unique it is. But this back starfish kind of make it a little muddy in its texture, because you have a silhouette that's just like going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But its color scheme looks gorgeous, and its ring makes it stand out. Like, you're drawn immediately to its center of the face. Like, it's pretty cool. I'll put next to Starmie, or Star. Mr. Mime. Now, I know what you're all expecting. You're going to say, yep, this thing is obviously terrible. Put it in the trash. But, like, yeah, you're right. It's going in the trash. Back to the drawing board. Why does it have such a humanoid face structure? Like, it looks like it's just a person in a costume. And it looks very creepy. Like, this thing should have been ghost fairy type or dark fairy type, because it very much fits the, like, creepy vibe of, like, a weird clown jester thingy with these lanky limbs and these red cheeks, and its eyes looking like it's gonna get you. Like, yeah, those things creepy, like terrifying design. If it was ghost type, excellent, but it's not. Scyther, this is another Digimon looking Pokemon, just because it has these very noticeable protruding limbs coming from it. Like, this giant foot with this skinny limbs coming out is very distinctly Digimon. And these wings, making it super sharp, and its lack of hands, make it look a lot more mechanical and like kind of like a mech. So it does look a lot more mech-like and less insectoid, but I think it kind of works in this design because the color scheme is just so flattering. And again, it has a simple face structure. Like, even though it's a little more complex, its face structure makes it a lot more simplistic to look at. But I'll put it in just the good. Jinx. Yeah, this is another Mr. Mime where it's like, go back to the drawing board. Ignoring the weird, like, blackface thing that happened back in the 90s, it's just an unappealing design. Like, I'll show what good ugly looks like, but this is just, no. It looks like it's wearing a wig, has weird armor bits on its hands. It has the bra, which everyone points out, and it's wearing a dress. Nothing signals to me that it's ice type. Like, I feel like people who do like it just because it's known as, like, the ugliest Pokemon known to man. Like, I do not know what they were thinking, but it fits in with Pokemon. Funnily enough, like, the human lips thing is, like, ugly, but like I said, Pokemon needs to have those weirder, out there designs because it makes it feel that it makes it feel that much more distinct as, like, an entity. But, like, yeah, this just, I don't know what they were doing with this one. It's pre-evolution, it's so much more adorable. Electabuzz, very striking silhouette here. Very dynamic posing with its arms going out like this. Only thing that kind of bothers me is like its tail and its feet have that dinosaur-like vibe to it. Like it has a raccoon tail, but it has dinosaur-like feet. It's just pretty weird. And these features up here on its head, where it has the electric symbols and the little tiffs of hair, like you're doing a bit too much. Its face is overly round too, but other than those things, it's like it's okay. It's all right. Magmar's design is same problem but worse. Like it has the cheeks as forehead, like it's gonna fart in you. Its arms look like they had those confetti hands, like it's wearing a suit, one of those dragon like I know you've seen those Chinese dragon parade suits. Then it randomly has these cuffs that look like power inhibitors on its feet. Still has the Charizard tail. Like, I don't know. It's just all over the place. This Magnus design on its body, like the cuffs really don't make any sense. I'm putting it in mediocre. Definitely could have cooked better with this one. Pinsir's design is weird as well. Actually, no, it's pretty appealing. I like this inner mouth part because it looks like it can like... It looks like if it eats something, it tears it apart limb for limb with these like chains inside of its mouth. So that's very good design. They're very interesting. Then these giant head crests, these pincers, like it makes it look more insectoid-like. But other than that, I would just say it's okay. Like nothing too special. Probably like at the top of. Did I put Horsey and I thought I put them in good. No, Horsey and Kingdra are good. Or Seadra are good. Definitely not okay. What the heck was I smoking? Tauros, it's just a bull. It just looks like a bull. The triple tails make its silhouette a lot more distinct. But in terms of its overall design, like I like this hair tuft on its chest. That looks interesting, but it looks just like a generic bull. Too generic for my liking. Putting it okay. Magikarp. Now I know people are gonna say the humanoid lip design should stand out, but I feel like these like whiskers, these like fish line things, make it look. It looks way more Chinese if you notice that design decision, and then it makes its evolution and its like evolutionary form that much more iconic. Goldfish or Magikarp on its own kind of looks like a derpy fish, which is why I like it so much. But it's really why Gyarados is like an S-class design, because Gyarados is like easily amazing or perfection here. Like it does not get more iconic than this. Like you have the Chinese dragon, this little dynamic posing right here. You have these whiskers becoming more pronounced. Have its giant gaping maw that makes it look a lot more intimidating. Its ferocious eyebrows. Like, it sucks that it's not Dragon type. I know Game Freak didn't want that because it would be too overpowered, but it really should have been. Like, this thing is the Dragon type. Only other Pokemon that looks similar to it is Rayquaza, which is also an excellent design. But, yeah, the blue color scheme, it's just amazing. Alright, we're getting into the final stretch, people. With up next, we have the Pokemon Lapras, another very iconic Gen 1 Pokemon. This one is interesting to me because it's like obviously a sea turtle, but the shape of its eyes and that beautiful bluish color make it stand out, obviously. Plus, I think the shell, like the shell right here, the gray texturing, really does a nice job of showcasing its regalness and more elegant design as opposed to other water types. Though it does read a little bit like a rock type. Like, I feel like this is a more water and rock type vibe than water and ice type, which is a little bit of a design flaw in my opinion. But other than that, this is a stellar design. Easily going to the amazing tier. Now, Ditto. Ditto is funny because it used to be my favorite normal type Pokemon of all time until it got overtaken, but I don't know. Like, it was mostly my favorite due to competitive reasons and also because it's super adorable and derpy. But in terms of its design, it's kind of just like a Muck 2, if that makes sense. Like, it's just a jelly, which I know is the point because it could switch to different Pokemon. So that's the case, then I mean, it has the most unique eyes of the entire franchise. I'll put it in good because it's not a bad design by any means. Like, it's super cute and appealing, but it's kind of like it's just a blob. Like, it looks like you just made a bunch of curves and meshed them together, and the face is very iconic. But other than that, it's just a blob. Eevee, obvious answer. All the evolutions I'm saying right now are probably going to go into perfect, except for like 2. This is like immaculate design. Like, Eevee is like Clefairy in that it can also be a series mascot, and it literally was in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, just because of how iconic this design is. I mean, you have this fluffy fur that's a nice tan or beige color to complement the more brownish fur. You have this nice little tuft. It looks like a paintbrush or a tuft of like ice cream, if that makes sense. Like, it looks very, very appealing the way this is shaped. And then you have these giant, almost rabbit-like ears. Like, the design is very appealing. From the eyes to like snout, easily perfection. Good design. This might get me some flack, but I actually think Vaporeon is only an amazing. Like, it looks good, don't get me wrong, but it's not in like the elite tier design in my opinion, and that's just because I feel like this little pet collar thing looks a little bit weird. I do know why that's there. It's because Vaporeon's not just a regular sea creature, it's based off of a mythological animal, and it's like a weird dragon, like a weird sea dragon type of deal. That's why you have this tail that ridges along its back like this. It's just, I don't know, I don't really like it that much. Like, that's the only thing that keeps it from being imperfect here, in my opinion, is just this little awkward facial structure, but everything else, the colors, the shape language, 10 out of 10. Looks easy on the eyes, very funny, but yeah, I don't know how disagreeable that take is. Jolteon is also in the same category. It's amazing, but it's not perfect like I think evolutions are. I'll put it like right next to Vaporeon. And that's because it looks kind of too, like, it looks a little too boring for my liking. Like, this is the thing with electric type Pokemon, is that they often have just a mono yellow color, which makes it look kind of bland. And you'll see this with a lot of the dog Pokemon as well, where it's just like dog with specific colored fur. And that's it. Jolteon looks like, it just looks a little too dog-like. The most notable features are these spiky bits coming from its body. They're jetting out of him, making it very obvious that this thing is at least very sporadic. It gives off the electric type vibe perfectly, so you can tell immediately. But yeah, amazing design, but not perfect. Galarian, on the other hand, I think is perfect. And this is obviously just due to personal bias, but I don't know. Something about the way its tail is shaped in this nice crescent flame sort of way. Its fur looking nice and fluffy. The color of this nice reddish orange color contrasting with this nice yellowish beige. Like, it's so appealing to the eyes in my opinion. And you have it all so elegantly posed in like all of its artwork. Like, it looks fierce, but adorable at the same time. And that's why I just put it like above the other evolutions. Of course, I think my favorite evolution will make itself known when we get to that generation. But for now, Flareon's definitely the best design one. No questions asked there. Porygon. It's funny because Porygon the original isn't nearly as iconic as its evolution, but I like sheerly due to the fact that this is like inside joke about early 3D computer graphics and how it looks more polygonal the lower down the graphics get, and then it evolves into a way more high fidelity image. That's really clever. Like, as a Pokemon concept alone, it's very clever. But even with Porygon itself, you have this nice bird shape. Like, you still tell it's based off of an animal, even though it is artificial and kind of man-made. It's just a really nice design. The color language of this nice pink and blue contrasting nicely with this white pupil, just amazing. Amazing design. I'll probably put it above, I'll put it next to Lapras. Ulmanite. The Lord Helix beams are gonna roll in. Yeah, this is, despite all the jokes and stuff, I think it's just alright. You have that Gen 1 swirl again, but it just kind of looks like a regular sea creature. Like, once again, the eyes are doing most of the work to sell its expression. Like, this looks terrifying. But I just think that the funny little tentacles here just make it look like it has a mustache. So you can just imagine it like, like something like that. But I don't know. It's just good. Just good design. Just good. Omastar, this looks even more freakish and alien-like, which I think is a nice touch. Like, again, those eyes doing a lot of heavy lifting. Those look insane. Like, this Pokemon just looks crazy. From its spikes, to its wild tendrils, like tentacle, to its gaping mouth. It looks like a horror monster, and I think that was what they were going for. The spikes in the shell too, yeah, this one's just amazing. Selling the design excellently of this like ravenous, primitive sea creature that is going to destroy whatever gets in its path. Really excellent design right there. Kabuto. Now, this one is interesting because as a kid, I always thought that these were its eyes, like this right here. On further inspection, it's actually these bits right here that are its eyes, which I think is based off of some actual real animal. I'm not sure, but that's a really clever design decision because it looks like they're mimicking the way prey acts in real life. But other than that, it kind of just looks like a shell and these pincers coming out of the bottom of it. The eye thing is the most notable design thing about this Pokemon, so for that I'll put it in like good. But next one, Kabutops. This one has Digimon syndrome. I think it looks okay, like it's not bad by any means, but it looks too Digimon-like. Like I'm not a fan of the hands being pincers. I know animals in real life have like hands for pincers, but you have the legs that just bend like this. And they also read as bug type, but it's not a bug type, it's a water rock. I don't know, it's just a bit confusing. Like, where's the water type here? Maybe bug rock, but water rock doesn't really read that. It doesn't really read like that to me. And this weird croissant shaped head that looks like he's just gonna dip himself in some chocolate. Like, yeah, it's okay design. Also, the six pack is kind of weird. Like, why does it have a six pack? But other than those things, it's all right. It's not good, not bad, just kind of whatever. Aerodactyl, one of the most iconic fossil Pokemon, and this is a pretty good design. I'll admit, I'll put it at the top of good, but it looks just too much like just a pterodactyl. Like the devil tail is like one of the notable things, and its color scheme is excellent with the purple undertones on its wings. That's excellent, but it's just a little too generic dinosaur look for my vibes. There's probably a bias I have, but like anything that looks too like dinosaur-like, well, no, because I like Charizard, so I don't know. It looks too Digimon-like to me, but it's still a good design. Like I put it in top of good. Snorlax. This is probably obvious, but like, come on, it's going inside of perfection. Is there any like question about that? Like, come on, this is like probably the third most iconic. Like, if I have to do top 5 iconic Pokemon from Gen 1, Pikachu, Charizard, probably Eevee, then Snorlax would be number 4th, and then I guess, I don't know, Jigglypuff would be number 5. But like, come on, iconic design, such a simple color palette, this nice teal green color contrasted with this beige skitty texture. You can tell it's a bear because of these ears and the claws on its feet, but it's still simplistic enough to read its giant silhouette. Any angle this thing is posed in, it's like very noticeable. It's just such a good design. Game Freak cooked with this one. Articuno. Now, we have the first legendary Pokemon in the games, and for the first legendary bird, I have to say they absolutely nailed its design. Perfect here. Just the regalness and elegance you get from its proud and bold silhouette, the way the wings elevate themselves in like a phoenix-like pattern. Then you have this Aurora Borealis-like tail that swirls elegantly. Like, gosh, just so much personality in the way this tail moves. It looks so much more than just a legendary bird. And the color scheme, like this little fur tuft that makes it look like it's wearing a fancy nobleman coat. It's just so good. I love Articuno's design. Such a good Pokemon. Now, Zapdos, I'm sorry, you're going into good. Reason for this is just because the wings don't look like wings. I'm not gonna lie. Like these are like paper mache cardboard cutouts you taped onto this bird, and the face looks a bit ridiculous. Like I get it's supposed to read as electric type, but this looks like that joke when a cartoon character gets shocked by electricity and their hair stands up because of all the static. This is what that looks like. Like it's kind of like Jolteon, but on steroids, which is why I kind of don't like it that much. And then these legs coming from the main body look like they're just attached to one. Like the color grading's good, and I like the creativeness of the electric feathers, but it's a bit much in my opinion. Moltres. I think Moltres is amazing, and I know people are gonna roast that decision because I put Zapdos in like a lower tier, and people think Moltres looks like a rubber chicken that's on fire, but I actually disagree because, one, that golden coat, that golden yellow and orangish tone really contrasts nicely with the blue flames, and it does look like a rubber chicken, I'll admit, but its fierce eyes and its just phoenix-like design just makes it so appealing to me. Like the way they designed the fire that wraps around his body in such an elegant fashion. It's hard to explain why it's so appealing, but I like it. Like the Mohawk flames too. I think it's better than Zapdos because like it doesn't look like it's attached to one. It looks like it controls its fire and it can ignite itself in whatever way it wants, which is just a cool design. Now Dratini. This one is, so I'll put it in good. Nothing too special. Like, it's cute. It looks like a snake. I will say that the ornamental parts of it, or this white orb in the middle of its head with these yellow, or this white ornament in the middle of its forehead with these white eyes complement each other nicely. The giant Weedle snout, though, I don't think it really works in this Pokemon. Like, it looks super regal and elegant. You have these nice little fish fins. Then you just have this nose in the middle. But other than that, it's really cute design. Nice bluish tones. Nice simple color palette. That's what you want from a Pokemon. Dragonair, on the other hand. Oh my goodness. Perfection. I put it like above Clefairy, I mean. This thing looks so regal. It's so crazy that most people are like, yeah, I don't want to evolve it into Dragonite purely because of this design being so good. Like, people talk about Milotic's design, but I think this is better than that because you just have the one case where the unicorn horn works in making it look actually regal, and Eris, where the unicorn horn actually makes it look regal and fancy. These nice reddish eyes contrasting nicely with the blue hues of its body, this ornamental orb on its neck, the wings on its ears. Like, this looks like a mythical dragon, even though it's just a normal Pokemon. And I like this little double jewel on its tail. Breaks up the silhouette to make it more interesting. Like, Dragonair's design is amazing. Perfect. And then Dragonite. Dragonite is it's an amazing Pokemon design. Not as good as Dragonair, in my opinion, but like, I didn't mention with Charizard, but these teal color on the inside of its wings is a nice contrast to its skin color, which is usually more orangish or red. And I like how it looks simultaneously intimidating if it wants to, but also adorable. I don't like this unicorn horn thing. I think that's another Gen 1-ism right here. But it looks like a friendly, like that old preschool show where it was like dragons, The Land Before Time, or I think it was another. It looks like that old preschool dragon show. I forgot what the name of it was, but it does very much elicit that type of feeling in its design. And it's just iconic for a reason. The spiral pattern on its belly, yeah, it's Dragonite. Everyone knows this Pokemon's good. And we're finally reaching the last two Pokemon, which I'm just going to go ahead and put Mewtwo and Mew in perfection. Like, talk about making an absolutely stellar appearance. Mewtwo, its design decisions are very obviously inspired by Dragon Ball if you look at, like, Frieza, but it still looks cool. Like, this tail is like a nice focal point for the silhouette. You have its three-pronged fingers, selling its immediate weirdness, giving away the fact that it might be a psychic type. Its stance is very foreboding and intimidating. Its eyes give off the illicit emotion and determination that it shows. Then you have this cool little neck column. Like, I just like Mewtwo's design a lot. Sure, it looks like Sure, it's obviously inspired by, like, anime and other works at the time, but it still does a good job of communicating this thing's power, how important it is in the lore of the story, and how integral it is to the Pokemon world in general. Just amazing design. And then Mew. Mew is probably what I would put as the sixth most iconic in terms of the design-wise. Like, if Mew was given more promotion and, like, advertising as much as Pikachu, I think it would actually be on the same tier in terms of marketability and iconicness. Like, you have just three simple colors, this pink, this darkish purple, and these blue in the eyes, and it sells the Pokemon's innocence and importance nicely, immediately reads as a psychic typing, and it's a cute little cat design. This is evidence and proof why Pokemon works so well with its simple designs, because you immediately get its appeal without having to look too deeply into things, and Mew is just an encapsulation of that. I do think this little mouth bit here is a little funny. Like, that's the only thing I have a gripe with, but everything about it is just perfection. Amazing design, and a great way to wrap up the first generation of games.